Hello, pineapplers, and welcome back to Wine Wednesdays with Cassandra. Hi, I'm Cassandra, clearly, and I am the founder of the Quirky Pineapple Studio, a brand strategy and copywriting studio for impact-driven, service-based business owners who want to reach more of their ideal clients and also make an income and impact sustainably. So no more one-off things, but actually building something that provides for them and isn't just like one-off stuff. Just repeated myself. So if you are joining live, hey Shaylee, I see you. Let me know in the comments below what you are having, if you're having wine with me or if you're having water, tea. Last time we had somebody have booch, which I learned means kombucha. Didn't know that. Or if you're drinking coffee or anything like that, and then let me know where in the world you are watching from. So in today's Wine Wednesdays, actually let me set this up. I always forget to do this. In today's Wine Wednesday, what we're actually going to be talking about is when to update your website copy and how to actually do it. Updating your website copy. Cool. All right, so if you don't know, you really should update your website copy. Website copy, in my opinion, should be updated at least 6 months to a year. And then it should be routinely updated and checked on every few months. You could do it every 3 months, every 6 months, every year, anything like that. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining live. If you're joining live, like I said in the beginning, let me know where you're watching from and also what you are having. I have been drinking the same bottle of red wine for, 3 weeks now because I can't just finish it by myself. I've been slowly working through it. I poured myself a small glass today. And I also have water because a little bit of wine goes a long way in my body. Okay, so like I was saying, it is super, super important to update your website copy. Website copy really should be looked at, tweaked, updated every 6 months to 1 year. And if you haven't updated your website copy, at least in a year's time, it's really time to update it. So let me know in the comments below, when was the last time you updated your website copy? Or if you have never updated your website copy, don't be shy. Let me know also in the comments below. Sarah says she's watching from Oxford, Mississippi, and she is drinking chamomile tea. Nice. Is there whiskey in there? I think somebody said that if you drink chamomile tea with whiskey, it's actually very good, but I actually don't even like whiskey. I find it very gross. But that's a personal preference. Okay, so updating your website copy is super important, not only because it really is your brand message, and also when clients come to your website, you want to make sure that they're reading the most up-to-date brand message, also services, and also how your brand talks, and also your specific why, purpose, vision, mission, anything like that. No whiskey, but it has almond milk. And last time I updated my website copy was in September. Awesome. Okay, so September, October, November, December, January, February, 5 months. Cool. So that means maybe next month it's time to just read through your website copy and see where certain things can be tweaked and also where you can remove things or anything like that. So before I go into how to actually update your website copy, what I wanted to talk to you all first about is when it's time to know that you need to update your website copy. Because you cannot have the same website copy from when you first started to 5 years down the road, or you can't have, website copy that is super outdated and has services on your website that just don't make sense anymore. And actually, I just rewrote a lot of my website copy because I went through and reworked specific packages for the Quirky Pineapple Studio. And I also made sure our message was clear. We kind of switched the flip, I think that's what the expression is, to working with social enterprises. And then as I did more market research, I actually found out that some social enterprises don't even realize that they're a social enterprise. So me using social enterprise in my website copy just didn't make sense because some people were like, I'm not a social enterprise. I'm like, yeah, but you're kind of helping positively with social impact, which means a social enterprise. And they're like, oh, I am a social enterprise. And I was like, yes, you are. Okay, so sometimes when you do more market research, it just makes sense that you have to update your website copy because some of the terminology that you're using, some of the ways that you're referring to your ideal client just doesn't make sense anymore. And that is something that we found out when we did even more market research, got on calls, realized that a lot of the social enterprises that we consider social enterprises didn't call themselves that. Very interesting. Hello, Julia. Let me know what you are drinking and where you are tuning in from. I think you're tuning in from Philadelphia, but I don't know what you're drinking. It might be water, because last time I think you were drinking water. Okay, so let me get into when it's time to actually update your website copy. And I shared this in stories, I think last week, but let's just review it again. So there are a few different reasons what are they called? Reasons, I guess. Reasons as to why you need to update your website copy. Julia says she's always drinking water. Good for you. Stay hydrated, y'all. Okay, so the first reason is that you are targeting a different client or a clearer client. For example, when we first started the Quirky Pineapple Studio, we were working with creatives. That is great. And a lot of the times, and now in the online business, I see a lot of people say that they work with creatives. This is good. This is good because sometimes people don't consider themselves creative. But if you look under the hood of what creative means, there are a lot of people who could consider themselves as creatives and a lot of people that I wouldn't necessarily work with. For example, some people who wanted to work with me and they didn't really have anything that I could help them with. I don't remember who it was, but I remember I was working with one client, and after working together, I just realized this was not the best fit, and that actually helped me get a lot clearer on my client. So for example, just to walk you through how the Quirky Pineapple has gone through a few different stages of our website copy. When we first started, we worked with creatives and entrepreneurs, or creative entrepreneurs. Then we worked with small business owners. Then we worked with hospitality and tourism because that is the background that I have. From college, I studied hospitality management and also got into tourism when I started doing travel blogging. And they're kind of creative, like hospitality, that's like restaurants, hotels, events, things like that. Then I realized, yes, I like them, but I like helping people who have a specific mission. So then I was like, okay, let's do some more market research, what we talked about last week on Wine Wednesday. And I realized, okay, I want to help people who have a specific mission if they're trying to change the world or make a more positive impact. Then it changed from hospitality and tourism to social enterprises. And I was like, yes, social enterprises, this is it. These are my people, social enterprises, social businesses, anybody who wants to make a positive social impact on the world. That's quite broad, but I was like, niched it down. I got it. Then when I did even more market research, this is what I was telling you all before, I realized that some social enterprises don't consider themselves social enterprises and they might not necessarily use that or relate with the word. So what happened? I dug a little bit deeper and I realized that the Quirky Pineapple Studio specifically helps service-based business owners. These are people who have online services or they're people who are offering in-person services. So for example, a spa, or they could be a hospitality related business who want to use their business to make a positive impact. Y'all, going from creative entrepreneur to specifically a service-based business who wants to create a positive impact, it's kind of a big deal. So that's kind of when you realize that you need to update your website copy because you're targeting a different audience or your ideal clients are a lot clearer. The second reason why you need to update your website copy, or could be a reason for you to update your website copy, is that your business has grown. You have either added on more team members, you have added on more services or taken away services, you have new opportunities, and your business is growing steadily. This is a great time to update your website copy because most of the time there are little nuances in text that can highlight that you are still a small company or that you can't do something. So, for example, when the Quirky Pineapple Studio first started, I used a lot of I. I talked about I can do this, I can do that. I'm Cassandra. Cassandra is like, the face of the Quirky Pineapple Studio. Then as the Quirky Pineapple Studio was growing and I realized that I needed to bring on help just for me, for the business, but also to grow the studio even more, I had to switch. I couldn't use I anymore because there are other people who are part of the team that make the team function. It's not just me. And that is actually okay because I knew that my message needed to reflect that. So I needed to update my website copy. And going in and just taking out all the I's and replacing them with we's doesn't work. Only because sentence structure doesn't work like that. So you have to go in and update and make sure that your message is consistent throughout all of the pages. And then also not even just your website copy, but making sure your message is consistent in your social media posts, in videos that you put out. Because in the beginning, I was talking about myself and I was talking about what I could do. And now it's not just me anymore. It's me and Luana, our social media manager, and also a new team member who is watching live, I think, but I will not say it yet. Exciting announcement. Hello, Estrella. So the team is growing, and that means that it's not just about me anymore, even if I am the person that is doing these videos and maybe doing more of the talking. I have other people who make all of this grow and work better for the clients. So again, the first one that I mentioned is it's time to update your website copy when you're targeting a different or clearer client, when you have a better idea of who you want to work with. The second reason is that your business has grown, that you maybe are bringing in more profits, more revenue. You have clients coming in at a regular basis, or maybe your team has grown. So it's time to update the message so that it's not just you-centric, but a we-centric type of feel. Okay, the third one, which I think is pretty obvious, is that you offer new services. Y'all, if you offer new services or you stopped offering specific services, it's time to update your website copy because no one wants to go on your website and then say, oh my gosh, this is what I want. And then they reach out to you and you're like, oh, actually, we stopped offering that. Or, hey, that's outdated because this package has changed and the price point has changed. So when you start offering new services or when you've stopped offering certain services, it's time to update your website copy. This is currently what we're going through. I've taken out specific services again, and now I have to update the website copy because I need to talk mostly about the only services that we offer. And I need to make sure that it's all cohesive and makes sense with the client and also with the client journey, because I can't just be saying, oh yeah, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. When I first started the Quirky Pineapple Studio, y'all, I was offering photography. I don't know what I was thinking, but I was offering brand photography, portrait photography. I was offering couples photography. Why was I offering photography? Not totally sure why I was offering photography, but I had a separate page for it. So the first 3 services that the Quirky Pineapple Studio offered were brand message and copywriting, which was one service. Then we offered content creation. No, I don't even think we offered that. We did brand messaging and copywriting. Then we offered strategy sessions. And then we offered portrait photography. Don't know why we offered portrait photography, but in the beginning, what I was doing was I was specifically helping bloggers and content creators with their message, with their content, with their photos, and that's what I wanted to do. Then when I realized that I don't even like taking photos, I mean, it's not like I don't like taking photos, but I definitely don't like editing them, and I just got tired after any photo shoot. So I was like, okay, ixnay the photography. And then the photography got replaced by content creation. Then I started adding different things for strategy sessions. I had like a full strategy session. I had a one-off strategy session. I had little things. And it made more sense because that was kind of the type of client that I wanted to work with. Then at one point, which I still think, if you go to our website, don't look at it right now because it's currently in the process of being restored, struggling with the back-end stuff. But if you were to look at our website copy now, we actually started offering event marketing. And the new website copy is going to be different because I've removed event marketing. I have a few comments here. Katie says, I remember years ago when we met here on Instagram, and it's so cool to see how you've grown to QP. Oh, yay! Yeah, Katie, you and I have been following each other on Instagram for like 4 years. Until the day that we actually meet. I want to meet your dog because your dog's name is also Coco, and our family dog is also named Coco. It's weird how I know this. If you are joining live, let me know if you are having anything to drink in the comments below. Also, if you have any questions or comments while I'm talking, feel free to just write them in the comment box, and then I will read them as I go along. Okay, so like I was saying, when we redid our website copy and updated it, I removed the photography side. That was like years ago. And then I added event marketing. The thing with event marketing is because I knew that Sarah says, OMG, my parents' dog is also Coco. Oh my gosh, y'all. Coco's a very popular name. Hello, Denise. Okay, so when I did market research, I found out that a lot of social enterprises are mainly nonprofits or charities, and they do a lot of fundraising work and like sponsorship stuff. Then I found out that they needed help for event marketing so that they could find sponsors, they could find volunteers, people to actually help them carry out the mission. This was great. So then I decided to do event marketing. I knew it was event marketing, and then when I started talking more to social enterprises and all of that stuff, I realized that nobody knew, like in their minds, they didn't call it event marketing. They just called it, I don't even know what they called it, but it wasn't event marketing. So for me to make that realization, I was like, oh, nobody's going to even search event marketing. So why do I have it? Then I also found out that most fundraise or like nonprofits, charities want to have somebody on the ground to actually take the social media content to market their content or to create flyers or anything like that. And because I am location independent and the Quirky Pineapple Studio is based online, it was just really hard for us to kind of be able to like sell that package because, well, we couldn't be there. And because they were a nonprofit or a charity or a social enterprise, a lot of their profits went to other things to make the positive impact. They couldn't actually pay for us to fly over there. So again, that required us to update our website copy because we have to remove event marketing. It just doesn't make sense, especially for a business that is location independent. Maybe if we were based in Washington, D.C., where I'm originally from, then that would work. But here in Madrid, well, I also don't create content enough in Spanish to be event marketing in Spanish. So, yeah. Okay, so let's review. Reasons why you need to update your website copy. You're targeting a different client or you're targeting clearer clients. You have a better idea of who your clients are. 2, your business has grown either as a team or you are bringing in normal clients. So you need to kind of update how you work and, the timeline of that. 3, you offer new services or you stopped offering certain services. So those are the 3 things so far. I have a whole other list. Another reason to update your website copy is that you're just looking for a little bit more oomph in your copy. A lot of the times, yes, hiring a copywriter is an investment. I'm not going to say it's expensive, but it is an investment, and it's a worthwhile investment if I do say so myself. I'm not being biased here, but y'all, it is. But sometimes we just have to DIY our own copy. And if you want, I can go on another Wine Wednesdays with Cassandra and talk about the 3 biggest mistakes I see in DIY copy. If you want to see that, let me know in the comments below by dropping a thumbs up or the wine glass emoji to let me know that you actually want that Wine Wednesday to talk about 3 biggest mistakes in DIY website copy. If not, then that's totally fine. But sometimes when we first start, you have to DIY, and that's okay. But what happens when you DIY and that you're not a normal copywriter or anything, sometimes the pages are a little bit disjointed and the message isn't carried out throughout the entire thing. So a good thing to do is to hire a copywriter if you just need a little bit more oomph in your copy. And if you can't hire on a full-time copywriter, there are some copywriters me, for example, or other copywriters, which is totally fine, who will actually kind of walk you through how to write your own copy, and they'll edit it. If you're interested in that, that's what the Use Your Voice Mastermind is all about. So you can DM me about that. But sometimes your copy just needs a little bit of oomph. Like if it sounds too corporate and you're not corporate, or if you don't think that it actually sounds like you when you're reading it, you really want to make sure that your business has a consistent voice, tone, and personality. And a lot of the times, if we, like you and I, are solo entrepreneurs. Well, I'm not a solo anymore because I have a person helping me. But a small business or an entrepreneur or a creative or anything like that, we are usually working alone. And most of the time when we start writing our own copy, it ends up sounding like us, which is great because most of the time you will be the face of your business. And that's totally fine. But as your business grows, it's not going to be your voice anymore. There is a personal brand voice, which is you as the CEO. And then there is the business brand voice, which is its own entity. You are not your business. And unless you are like the personal brand and the embodiment of your personal brand, then yes, that means that you are your business. But most of the time, if you are a service-based business owner, you have your business entity and then you have yourself. And you as the CEO will sound different than you as the business owner. And so sometimes it's necessary to add the little oomph in your copy to make sure that it sounds more like the business and less like you, just yourself. And this goes back to point number 2 that I was talking about is when your business has grown. Like if you are just you by yourself or you want to eventually grow a team, then maybe you need to start writing and talking like you have a team. This is not a lie. I mean, I started saying we before I even had a team, but that's okay because I actually hired on contractors, and that's okay. If that's what you want, then you got to talk like it. So sometimes it's just necessary to add a little bit more oomph. Again, like I was saying before, there is you brand as a CEO and then business brand as the entity. When you start out, they will kind of sound very similar, almost in the same. This is me like making it the same. And then as you grow and as you position yourself as the CEO, as you position yourself as a thought leader, as you step out and get more visible to lead and to actually make a dent and make like sustainable impact, then what you need really is to have your personal brand as the CEO and your business brand as the entity. And the copy for both of them will be a little bit different. It might be very similar because, you're the one leading it, but it won't be the same. If you follow me on my personal account at Cassandra T. Lay, you'll see that my copy is very different than what the Quirky Pineapple sounds like. There is a little bit of an air, like you can tell that it's pretty much written by me or by Luana, who is the social media manager, but it's not going to be the same. And the way Cassandra T. Lay talks, as opposed to the way the Quirky Pineapple Studio talks, is different. And that's because I am not the Quirky Pineapple Studio. I was in my past life, as in 2 years ago, last year. But then I broke it off because I was like, you know what? If I want to really grow my business, then it needs to be the business entity and I need to be myself. So that is just some branding, marketing, extra pizzazz in there. Okay, if you all are following, let me know down in the comments below. Comment anything. If you have a question or if you are getting lost in anything, let me know. But I'm going to continue. Okay, so another reason why you need to update your website copy is that your business has gained recognition or accolades locally or internationally. If you've been recognized, or if you have a lot of PR things, or you've been on podcasts, or you were a speaker, or you wrote a book, or you were in virtual summits, all of that needs to be built into your website copy because that builds authority. And if you're not updating your website copy to say that you were an award-winning blah, 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 or you have given X amount of workshops, or you were featured in XYZ, or you were a guest speaker in this summit, y'all are missing out because when you say those things, that means that you are positioning yourself as an expert and you're also building trust with your community or your audience because you're saying, okay, it's not just me who's tooting my own horn, but other people have recognized me for the work I do. And that in website copy needs to be expressed throughout different pages and throughout your message. So let me know in the comments below, have you added in your awards, your recognition, your accolades, any guest features that you have been, guest features that you've been featured in, guest features that you have had, either they are podcasts or guest blog posts or anything. If you have added them, let me know in the comments below. And if you haven't added them, also let me know in the comments below. Just be like, yay or nay. If it's nay, we got homework for you. That would be to update the website copy. Okay, another reason for you to update your website copy, would that be its own page or section? I think it needs to be built into all of it, actually. So if you want to put it in its own page, then you can put it under portfolio or you can put it under press. Some people have like a whole separate page for press and media. That's totally fine. That's where you can put like your podcast features, your guest blog posts, any awards that you've won. You could also put, I don't know, your testimonials, your professional bio and specific images for people to use. If you want to get into speaking, you could do that, or you could just have it on your portfolio. Julie says she's added guest posts and podcasts. Awesome. Katie says it seems like the most important thing is keeping the copy current and up to date to reflect where the business is up for each stage, right? Yes. Basically, Katie hit the nail on the head. Your website copy is not just a one and done type thing. It is not just a finish it and leave it. It is a living and breathing part of your brand and your business, because it really needs to reflect where your business is, and also to make sure that your message is just staying consistent. Sarah says, now that you mention it, I have not. I have a few to add. Awesome. So yes, I'm giving you all homework if you're watching this live. If you have any guest blog posts, podcast features that you've been on, if you won any awards, if you've hosted any workshops, if you have been a guest speaker in anything, if you were in a virtual summit, what else? If you've done any speaking gigs, if you've written anything that has been published, not on your blog, but like somewhere else, you all should have, in my opinion, you all should have like a document where all of these links are saved, and then you can update your website copy or specific press pages or anything like that with this information. You don't have to put all of it. Honestly, I have had a few guest blog posts. I've had a few podcast episodes published, and I've been featured in a few things, but I don't put it all because it just doesn't make sense anymore because of the direction that the Quirky Pineapple Studio is going. Remember, like I said in the beginning, I was working with travel and hospitality, so I was on a lot of travel and hospitality podcasts. I did a lot of guest blog posts. I taught master classes and all of that, but some of it just isn't relevant anymore. I pick and choose the ones that I want, and now I have it on my website. Also, it's all being updated again because I like to update my website copy every 3 to 6 months. So that's important. Does anybody have any questions about when you need to update your website copy? I will read through this all again. Okay, so there are a few different points. Remember, I said the first one is that your target audience has changed or your target audience has gotten clearer as you've worked with more people. Number 2, your business has grown. Either you're bringing in more clients regularly or your team has grown. That all needs to be reflected in your website copy. Number 3, you offer new services or you've stopped offering certain services. Remember, you don't want outdated services on your website. Another thing is you don't want the price there and you haven't updated it in years and your prices have changed. That is also bad because when somebody inquires, there's a disconnect there, and that doesn't make for a pleasant customer or client experience. Am I number 4, right? You're looking for a little more oomph in your copy. This means that you've either DIY'd your copy or you still sound like it's you, but you want to make it more about the business and not about you. Remember what I said about personal brand, business entity, 2 separate things. They might sound the same, but they really should be a little different because you as a person should not sound as you. Like the 2 don't make sense to go in one. unless you are like the embodiment of your business. This would work for influencers or anything like that. And then your business has gained recognition or accolades locally or internationally. That means that you have been featured in podcasts, summits, guest blog posts, blah, blah, blah. All of that should be recognized or like updated in your website copy. So does anybody have questions on when it's time to actually update your website copy? Do you all feel like you need to update your website copy? Let me know down in the comments below, or you can hit the heart button at the bottom to let me know if you actually need to update your website copy. Remember, like I said, your homework is to maybe make an entire list or a document, a Google Doc, for example, of all the things that you've done. This could be features you've had, guest blog posts, podcasts, all of that stuff, and just kind of update it and keep it updated so that you know what you've been featured in, so then you can include it into your website copy. Hello, Cecilia. Hi, everyone. If you're watching live and you've just joined, let me know what beverage you're having in the comments below. Still drinking my wine. All right. I really need to get snacks with my Wine Wednesdays. I feel like that would be way better, but I can't eat and talk at the same time. Like, that would be a mukbang, if you all know what a mukbang is. A mukbang is like, this is about website copy, but if you don't know what a mukbang is, it was started in South Korea. It is an online eating show where like somebody eats copious amounts of food online on videos or anything like that, and they actually get paid to eat it. But they have like thousands of plates or like huge plates of food. I would love to do that, but honestly, me teaching about copywriting and content strategy while like shoving rice in my mouth does not sound pleasant, and it probably wouldn't be pleasant for you all. Okay, so questions about that? Anything else that you all maybe are unsure about? Let me know. And if not, I am going to leave you all with one piece of homework to actually update your website copy. Okay, so out of all the tips that I've mentioned about when it's time to update and all of that, the biggest thing about website copy, and I'm sure you've read this in so many different pins or in other blog posts, but I'm going to repeat it because it's very important. Your website copy is not about you. It is about your client. And the more you talk about yourself, the less conversions you'll have. I just think the more you talk about yourself, it just sounds very like, not selfish, but kind of like, not mediocre either. It's like too fresh. Like when you talk about yourself, you sound too fresh. Like you sound like you are, I don't want to be rude. But every time I read website copy that mostly talks about the person and the person who created it, for example, sometimes I see photographers who, Katie says narcissistic. Kind of. It's not narcissistic, but it sounds like desperation. But not as strong as desperation, the word, because desperation sounds like very negative. It sounds very like, ay, no sé la palabra. I don't even know what the word would be in Spanish, honestly, but if I think of it, I will let you all know. But when you read website copy that isn't talking to you, but is more, I was going to say contando de la persona, which means talking about the other person or the business owner, I always feel like, yes, kind of like narcissistic, kind of like newbie, what Denise said. It just doesn't sound nice, because as much as I love hearing about the other person and I want to know the other person before I actually invest with them, most of the time I just really want to know what I want to know. Most of the time people come to your website, they want to get the information that they want and then be on their merry way. What you want to do is have website copy that is captivating enough or like really speaking to them that makes them stick, because we are all not sufficient. What is the word? Selfish people, I guess. Self-relying. Yes. like Katie says, it sounds like talking at you instead of with you. Yeah, and what I like to think of website copy as is it's a conversation. And you don't want to ever be talking at someone. Like, I could come on to Wine Wednesdays with Cassandra and I could be talking at you all like, you need to do this, this, this. This is why I think you need to do this, this, this. But it's not fun. It's not fun for me because I want to like incorporate you all in the conversation because I like talking to you all. And that's what website copy needs to do. It needs to invite somebody into the conversation so that you can gain their trust, learn about them, and then share about yourself. Julia says self-involved. Yes, this is kind of like when you go on a date or a friend date, doesn't even need to be like a romantic date. When you go on a date with somebody and you are asking each other like back and forth questions, right? Like the normal conversation is, oh yeah, tell me about your family. Do you have any brothers or sisters? Then I would answer, yeah, I have 2 sisters. And then I would say, oh, what about you? Do you have any brothers or sisters? And the other person would say, yes, I have blah, blah, blah. Or no, I actually don't. But website copy that only talks about you and only talks about like what you love about your service or why you got into this, kind of sounds like when you go on the date and you ask your date or your friend, potential friend, oh, tell me why you moved to Madrid. And then they start talking and talking and talking and talking. And you're like, oh, yeah, me too. And then you try and like get a word in, but then they're like, oh, but like, oh my gosh. And then they start talking and talking and talking. And then you leave the friend date, romantic date, whatever type of date. And you're kind of just like, what a waste of time. I have wasted my time. I didn't even talk. I just listened. And I don't care. Like, I do not care. Why did I listen to this person? Like, that's what website copy shouldn't sound like, in my opinion. I think website copy should really invite whoever's reading it to get involved with your brand, with your business, and either to have them interact with you in a different way, to either follow you on Instagram or to subscribe to your newsletter or check out your services or view your portfolio or just send you an email, anything like that. Honestly, website copy needs to do something where it guides the reader, gets them involved in the conversation and converts them to something. This could honestly be like clicking on a blog post and reading through it, or clicking on another page in your website. This is where you would check it out on Google Analytics, or if you have heat maps, this is where you could check in your heat maps where people go when they're reading your website copy. But that is what I believe website copy should be. Honestly, a conversation with your audience to get to know them. And I know that you all wanted me to talk about like the 3 biggest mistakes, but I will talk about one, and it is when you talk too much about yourself. You don't want that. You want to talk about your client. You want to get to know them. You want to talk about, what their motivations are, what they need, what they are struggling with, all of that. And it sounds like very repetitive that I'm saying this, but it's so true because like you all said, even Katie said it, it sounds like they're talking at you instead of with you. It sounds narcissistic. It sounds like they're a newbie. It sounds self-involved. You don't want that. Do you want to date somebody like that? I would say no. Like, that doesn't sound fun. That doesn't sound like a 2-way relationship. Like, this is not a one-person dance. This is a tango, as they say. And you need 2 to tango is what, I don't know who says it, but that is what the expression is. You need 2 to tango. So that is all about website copy. Next week, I can talk about the 3 biggest mistakes. Actually, you all let me know. Would you rather me talk about the 3 biggest mistakes with DIY website copy, or would you rather I share about my, what is it? I had it in the thing. This is why I shouldn't drink a lot of wine when I'm doing these Wine Wednesdays live. It was either 3 biggest mistakes with DIY website copy, or it is my predictions for 2020 marketing trends, which I feel like this one's going to be super good because I just did a whole bunch of research, read a few opinion pieces, and I am digging into like the trends and stuff. And these are my 3 biggest marketing trends for 2020. So let me know, would you rather have 3 biggest mistakes for DIY website copy next week, or would you rather have me talk about 2020 marketing trends? My new climbing shoes says 2020 marketing trends. Also, Katie says I was guilty of it at first because I was shy and thought people wouldn't want to talk with me. Oh my gosh, wait, we talked about this like 2 weeks ago when I did a Wine Wednesday about fear of visibility. And y'all, a lot of the times, website copy, brand messaging, visibility is when you have to put yourself out there and you have to be vulnerable and you have to tell your story. And it sounds very like marketing cliche to be like, use your story. And I don't want to say use your story to sell, because that's not the point. But visibility is truly about feeling like so good in yourself and accepting who you are and being brave enough to put it out there. And not just only put it out there, but put it out there with a specific message to help other people and to impact other people positively. Of course, there are people who do it in a negative way. Wouldn't want that. That is bad. But that is what I think about visibility. I talked about it I think 2 or 3 weeks ago in Biggest Fears in Visibility, but we can have another conversation about it. Okay, so we got 2 votes for trends. There are 4 other people I see watching this live. So if you are watching this live, let me know. Mistakes, trends, which one? And yeah, if you all have any other questions, let me know in the comments below. But honestly, if you go on to thequirkypineapple.com and you go to our blog and you type in, no, you don't even have to type in anything. If you go to thequirkypineapple.com, you go to our blog, and then you go to the copywriting button, you can find a lot of free resources about website copy, about content strategy, anything like that. Or you can go on to our Instagram feed and just scroll and find lots of tips, advice. We also have the TQP radio where we talk about specific things for marketing or copywriting or content strategy. And of course, each Wednesday I'm going live on Wine Wednesdays to talk about a topic. I am based in Madrid, Spain. So it is currently 7:42 p.m. here. All right, y'all. That is it. Also, mistakes would be great for next week and then trends for the following week. I would love to know both. Cool. Okay. Well, y'all's homework is to read through your website copy and see where certain things need to be updated. You can make notes, maybe create pull out your journal, write homepage on one page, write about on the next, contact, services, anything like that. And just read through your website copy and take notes of where things aren't making sense anymore. And then when you do that, you can kind of start working on, updating your website copy. And also another big thing is when you go and read your website copy, make sure that you're not talking about yourself the whole time, but, also talking to your peoples and not just at your peoples. Okay, so that is your homework. If you actually do your homework, awesome. Let me know. You can send me a DM or anything like that. And if you would like specific help on anything, or you want to just get more visible and you want a community to help use your voice, then you can send me a DM. We have spots open for the Use Your Voice Mastermind, which is a 4-month mastermind that Sarah is currently in. I think she's here live. We have 3 other people who are also in it. And in that program, I help you through your messaging, your content strategy, and also different visibility strategies for online and offline, because honestly, it's not just about online. One of the trends that I'm seeing is that we're moving to a lot more in-person things. And when you all go to networking events, it's really important that you present yourself confidently. And I don't want you to just hide yourself behind your computer screen or your phone screen and be confident on there. But then when you're in person, you get nervous to actually say, hey, I am a copywriter and content strategist, and I help service-based business owners create impact and income sustainably. I don't want y'all to stutter, okay? We're not stuttering in 2020. The end. On period, as my little sister would say. Okay, y'all, I am going to actually make dinner because it is almost dinner time here, but thank you for joining me live. Actually, so funny, my little sister just joined. Hello. Yes, we have our co-working session for the mastermind tomorrow. So we have virtual co-working sessions each month. And then we have a guest speaker coming in. This month, we have a personal stylist coming in to talk all about personal styling and how to present yourself online and in person with confidence through your clothes. Because if you want to build a personal brand and a business brand, business entity, you got to know how to look good and feel good online and offline. Okay. My little sister says she had to support, but y'all, you came late. I am signing off. Okay, y'all. Thank you so much. If you have any other things that you want me to cover, feel free to send me a DM. My DMs are always open. If it's not me responding, then it might be my social media manager, but sometimes she tells me that somebody messaged and I will actually go in and respond. So yeah, and if you have questions about the Use Your Voice Mastermind, feel free to send me a DM about that as well. And I will see you all next week. Will it be trends or will we talk about mistakes? We will see. All right. Bye, everyone. Cheers. I still have to finish my wine. Bye.